morning, and I apologize for my delay. So I've taken up this thing of playing on the Congressional Women's Softball team. And we practice on every day we're in session at 7 o'clock in the morning. You would not have wanted me to show up the way I ended practice, and so I apologize for my delay. I want to take a moment to welcome you and to welcome all of our students, educators, administrators, nonprofit organizations, the gamut, and some of you parents of young people too, to this discussion today about the science, technology, engineering, and math, the STEM fields. Some people have encouraged me to add an A, arts, the STEAM fields. And I think if you had a conversation here with Arnie Duncan, our Secretary of Education, he would say that too. And it's like I used to say to my son, when you're doing art and music and those things, you're also doing math and science. And so when we educate whole children, then we can turn them into the kind of young people who will grow and be productive and fully educated and ready to compete in today's global economy. And so there can be no better discussion here today than the importance of developing STEM learning from the earliest ages possible. How old are you, young man? Excellent, a 12-year-old. And you know, I always go to the young men and the young women because I look at them and I say, you know what, this isn't about us, it's about them. But to be about them, it means that those of us who have the capacity at every agency, at every school, at every institution of higher learning, at every community, have to be on top of making sure that they have the skills that they need for today's marketplace, the skills that they will need for the future. And so I'm pleased to have all kinds of institutions engaged here today. And I'm going to get us started first by welcoming all of you, but particularly to those of you who are participating as panelists and discussants and moderators and participants here today. I am especially pleased, and I know I've got to read this stuff on here, and so, okay, but if I don't read this, I'm going to tell secrets, so you make your choice. You know, that is our NASA administrator, Charlie Bolden. We're doing a little exchange here. And I'd like to say my good friend, Administrator Charles Bolden, who is just doing amazing work and leading NASA into the kind of agency that it needs to be also for the 21st century. And he takes really, you know, I mean, I know he's like a hotshot astronaut and all that stuff, and, you know, great Navy guy, and I mean, he's got just a lot of qualifications. And his wife Jackie tells me about his other qualifications as a great human being too. But I am delighted to welcome Administrator Bolden. He often appears before our science, space, and space science, space, and technology committee on which I serve. And he's always incredibly prepared, ready to talk about where NASA is and where NASA is headed. A great stand-up guy for the wonderful civil servants at the agency and the great corporate partners as well. And so I didn't read this stuff, you can read this stuff. And actually, if you're 12, you can read it even better because the type will look like big print to you. And so with that, I am pleased to welcome Administrator Charles Bolden of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
Congresswoman Edwards, I can't thank you enough for that was an incredible introduction, to be quite honest. I tell people, and I need for one thing to be said in my introduction and then stop. And that's, I'm the grandfather of 3 beautiful girls. And they're 5, 9, and 12. And if you ever want to see them, they're a handful. I have one athlete, one rocket scientist, and another one who lives on an iPad 2. And she knows everything about tech, and it's the 5-year-old that's the techie on the iPad. I have to apologize because I'm going to have to run after this. I have one of my mentors is the late, great Lieutenant Commander Wesley Brown, who was the first African American to graduate from the Naval Academy. So I'm going to go to his memorial service this morning down at the Academy, so I'll have to leave. I do apologize. I want to point out a group of kids here, young men. I'm sorry, not kids. But I met them just a few minutes ago, and if I got the school right, it's Northwest High School? Did I get it right? Yeah. It's the Robotics Club from Northwest High School, and they're inaugural year. And the reason I do that is because they're sitting next to the young 12-year-old who was, I told his dad and him, he was dressed, I guess you ladies say dressed to the nines. What do we say? What do we say about it? That same thing for a guy? That's good, right? Yeah. Okay, well, you know, whatever it is, he is dressed to kill. I mean, he's looking about as sharp as you can be. And we, believe it or not, as we were driving through security, we noticed this young man in this suit and everything standing there, and I said, look at that sharp young man. I bet you that's his dad, and I bet you they're going to Congresswoman Edwards' thing. And then one of my co-workers said, no, he's probably not going because I think this is all adults. I said, you watch, I bet you will. So good to have you here. And talk to those young men at the Robotics Club, okay? You need to be a first roboticist. And the other group I want to commend are those of you in the back and all over the place who are interns. I had an opportunity to talk to some of you. Really, I'm certain that Congresswoman Edwards has told you this, or others have, really suck up this opportunity and the experience you're having. It is incredible, and I invite, as I've said to several of you, I invite all of you to go to the place where your boss used to work, because it is an absolutely incredible NASA facility. The Goddard Space Flight Center right over in Greenbelt. We'll be glad to host you in mass or anything. Some of you have interest in science and engineering, and I think Congresswoman Edwards would probably take you over there sometime to get back. She goes a lot, so enough of that. Congresswoman, I can't thank you enough for your support of NASA. You're a hard taskmaster, and I tell you all the time I really appreciate that, because you know, we come in for congressional hearings, and when I go back, sometimes people are kind of going, man, are you hurt, or this kind of stuff, and I said, no, it was good. And Congresswoman Edwards is a leader in very critical questioning, very pointed questioning, and very detailed questioning. And I tell people all the time, I welcome that opportunity, because we have not had a public dialogue in this nation on science, engineering, and space. And we need to. And so the only opportunity the NASA administrator has for public dialogue on that is when I go before Congress. And the harder the questions, the more pointed the questions, and the better the opportunity I have to represent my agency and the incredible 17,000 civil servants and about 4,000 contractors who work for it and make us go. So I thank you all the time for your hard questions. You know, I don't know how many of you do know that Congresswoman Edwards used to be a NASA, she was on the NASA team. I mean, she was out at Goddard. She worked on, I accused her once of working the Skylab program. Nah. Skylab was when we were both kids. Well, she was a kid, I wasn't. But she used to work on the Space Lab program out at Goddard. And so she knows about which she speaks when she tackles me on engineering and science and technology-related areas. You know, I think it was at Goddard that she got bitten with the space bug, I hope, and began to develop her passion for STEM. And if it's not obvious to you just from her opening comments, she is very passionate about it. You know, I don't know that she ever dreamed that one day she'd be representing the congressional district that encompasses the Goddard Space Flight Center, but I think she's doing an incredible job. I'm also very pleased to see so many representatives from different parts of the community here, whether you're teachers, whether you're university professors or students, parents, members of Congress, community leaders, business people, or what. I think we all agree that the need for more qualified STEM professionals in America is everybody's problem, and all of us must be a part of the solution. We all know about the jobs crisis that's been plaguing our nation since the start of the Great Recession in 2007. But it's a little known fact that while 13 million Americans are unemployed, More than 500,000 manufacturing jobs are unfilled right now, right as we stand here, simply because companies can't find enough trained scientists, engineers, and technicians to do the work. All of this is occurring in a world where emerging economies are surging ahead and education has become the fault line between success and failure. Clearly, this is an American crisis, but it is one that we can solve. President Obama has repeatedly stressed the importance of growing America's STEM workforce and has made it one of the highest priorities of his Jobs Council, Council on Jobs and Competitiveness. The President has set a goal of recruiting, retaining, and graduating 10,000 engineers each year to maintain America's competitive edge. He has specifically charged the Jobs Council with increasing the number of young people who not only start, but also stay with STEM studies in our schools and universities. The Jobs Council has also been tasked with creating stronger alignments between institutions of higher learning and the businesses that need STEM graduates to fill jobs and bolster American competitiveness. As a government agency that is in the innovation business, NASA could not do the things we do without a strong and growing STEM workforce. That's why STEM education is the foundation of NASA's learning initiatives. At NASA, our needs for workers across aerospace in the coming decades will be great. The space program is soaring to new heights, with new destinations on the horizon and new workers needed to advance aviation and space technology. A growing number of small and medium-sized private companies are also coming aboard as the commercial space industry picks up steam. Just last week, we saw the first successful launch and berthing to the International Space Station by a private American company, SpaceX, of Hawthorne, California. Last Thursday, they completed a near-flawless mission when they made a successful re-entry and splashdown in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Southern California, becoming the first private company to ever accomplish these ambitious goals. We have entered a new era in commercial spaceflight. More U.S. companies are getting in the game, and all of them will need STEM-educated workers. That's why in fiscal year 2011 alone, NASA's K-12 education projects reached more than a million students through STEM initiatives. An average 4,000 college students benefited from the agency's higher education projects through internships and fellowship opportunities. The good news is that everywhere I go, I meet young people, like many of you in this room, who are eager to enter the STEM fields. But desire is not enough. We have to make sure those students get the support they need in the classroom, in the community, in internships with government agencies and local businesses, in having access to the expertise and facilities available on the campuses of local colleges and universities. We also need to address the underrepresentation of women and minorities in the STEM fields. Let me take this opportunity to commend Congresswoman Edwards for her support of the 2010 America Competes Reauthorization Act and the amendments she offered to ensure that STEM opportunities are available to all students and teachers regardless of race, ethnicity, or economic background. In closing, I want to speak directly to the young people in the audience, you. Okay? The work we do at NASA every day is focused on revealing the unknown so that what we do and learn will benefit all humankind. NASA needs you in that vision. We need engineers to help us design new rockets and capsules that will take us farther into the solar system than we've ever been. We need scientists and researchers to help us develop materials to withstand the stresses of deep space exploration, to sustain humans for long-duration stays in space, to make air transportation quicker, safer, and more efficient, and to aid us in our quest to unravel the mysteries of the cosmos and learn more about our own planet. As NASA takes its next great leap into deep space exploration, we're determined that American workers and American companies lead the way. That means you. NASA needs you. America needs you. You're the keys to growing our economy, strengthening our nation's competitive edge, and winning the future. It all begins with STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So my message to you is simple. Get with it in the classroom. Stay with it no matter how tough it gets, and keep preparing yourselves to take your rightful place as the next generation of American engineers, scientists, and innovators. Congresswoman Edwards, thank you again for allowing me to come out and help you kick this off. And thanks very much to all of you for being here.
Thank the administrator very much. Thank you so much for being here. But before you leave out of the door, you know, I've been really critical of that the commercial and SpaceX and very, you know, asking a lot of questions.